All right, we're here with our friend John Fitzpatrick, CEO of Force Marketing. John, thanks for giving us a few minutes. I know we just got done with a full day on the floor.
Yeah.
So we have that feeling about us. We're tired, we're energized.
Busy day.
All of those things. Talk about, you're right by the main entrance, so you're able to see the first energy to the last energy of the day. What's traffic been like, and what are people talking about? What's the conversation coming through?
Traffic has been fantastic, and we lucked out here with the space. Where they put you at NADA,
It's complicated, I hear.
It's very complicated. Everyone pays the same price per square foot, but this is our 18th consecutive NADA.
Has something to do with it.
Has something to do with it. Has a lot to do with it. So it's been great. The buzz has been great. My sort of joke has been, in the marketing side of auto, it's nice to feel needed again. The last 2 years has just been, no supply, demand down the street, allowed them to, sell over MSRP. The service drive was full, and the need for marketing or new marketing concepts, while it was important, and they knew that at some point they'd get inventory again, it just wasn't something that was driving the conversation. And so now things have changed a little bit, and we're getting a lot of excitement around our technology, our data, our ability to connect a personalized way with the consumer, our ability to have not just a sales conversation and a service conversation, but one conversation with the consumer.
A consumer conversation.
Consumer conversation, and meet them where they are in their car buying journey, whether that is their lease is coming due, whether that's because they need to come in for service, whether it's EV and they don't really understand the EV versus the ICE vehicle ownership.
That's an interesting angle. So you were a part of a panel at the big JD Power event yesterday. Tell us about the topic of that panel and what the takeaway was and what your position was.
Yeah, so it was a great panel, great points of view from all over. Mike Stanton from NADA was up there. We had Michael from the energy department. And we had someone from Cars.com and my buddy Chris May from JM&A, and we just gave all of our perspectives on EV. The title of it was all about the $7,500 incentive, the tax incentive that has been ever evolving.
Yes.
Right? That is pretty complicated, and much of the
But a government program is complicated?
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that, right? So if the room of dealers doesn't fully understand the incentive and how it works, how do we expect the consumer to understand how it works? And so that's really was the topic, but we dove into all aspects of EV, right? And we know that a lot of the manufacturers have come out and said, look, by X year, we're going to be fully electric. And then we know there are some, like Toyota and BMW, that have said, well, no, that'll be a segment of what we offer, but we're not going to stop building great ICE vehicles. And we'll have our hybrid, and we'll have our plug-in hybrid, and we'll have all these different options, and let's let the consumer decide where they are in the journey. And so we believe that, and sort of as I've been analyzing sort of this particular marketplace, we've got the cars are here, the EV cars are here, and they're starting to stack up on lots. And the interest is here. One of the things that I was sharing yesterday is that last month, December, well, I guess 2 months ago, now we're in February, but in December of 2023, 33 million people in the US shopped for an EV. 33 million. That's up 15% from December of 2022, right? So we got 15% increase in interest. What's going on in EV with this? Now, of those 33 million, 24% of them were asking for a specific OEM model. Okay, so now we're getting deeper. Now, you might say, well, those are probably a lot of Teslas, right? A year ago, 70% of that 24% was Tesla specific. Fast forward a year, Tesla's only being asked 30% of the time.
Wow, so they went from 74% to 34% in 1 year.
1 year.
And is that just because there are a lot more models
That's because
available?
all the OEMs now have the models, right? And so we've introduced over 200 different EV models that are either here now or coming, all to the public to say, hey, this is now a product for you. Here's another one. We have a truck and an SUV category. Well, we know 80% of the vehicles on the road today fit that category that we haven't had an EV option for yet.
Right.
So in that element of the cohort, still a huge opportunity. My message to the audience, my message in general is we have an education gap here. We need to do a better job as marketers, communicators, brands, to explain the practical use of an EV.
Well, a lot of the conversations we've had around this topic was the purchase intent of someone who hand raises and said, I have interest in an EV. The way you start that conversation is so fundamentally different than the way you start the conversation with anybody else.
It's a different product.
Well, and they don't know about it.
Right? And think about this, the uncertainty around this new product, right? Uncertainty we know drives fear. Fear puts us in a paralyzed mode. We don't do anything. So we might be interested in the product, but we're not going to buy the product yet because we're not understanding can I go through my life in my city without a perfect charging network?
Yeah.
What does that charging network look like? How much does it cost to put a charger in my garage? What if I'm in an apartment complex and there's only 2 that I can see? Does everybody that's gonna buy an EV and now I can't charge it in my apartment complex? These are all unknowns.
So tell me this, how is data helping us solve those problems?
So data, well, that's a
I know,
big question,
okay, yeah, but
right?
like,
So give me a little.
okay, I'll give you a runway, go ahead.
So data, right? Well, first it starts with targeting the right folks, right? These 33 million people, are we targeting those folks with a conversation about understanding EV ownership and all of the different comparisons from an ICE vehicle to the vehicles that they're shopping right now? We know the ability to track those folks is there. Are we utilizing data, personalization, hyper-targeted throughout all the channels we're communicating with as effectively as we can be? Let's ask ourselves that question first. Once we get that person to fill out a form, come into the dealership, take an action, have we trained our team at the dealership, at the BDC center, to have that conversation that explains that product? Or are we just bringing them in through an EV interest and saying, look, this ICE product over here we know a lot better, let us explain that one better? That's a question. I tend to think in the research we've done, there's a huge opportunity at BDC centers, training our salespeople, maybe through compensation of incentivizing, bonus programs, whatnot. I believe there's an opportunity. I don't think this is the only thing that needs to be.
Well, it's amazing that you brought that up, because one of the conversations we had today was very distinctly about, a dealer brought up, for every pound of technology that we insert or data, we need 10 pounds of process. And I think what you just said is nailed that right on the head.
Yeah.
You said, like, we can leverage the data, we can target the right people, we can match the content and to intent, but what happens, what's the process when they drop into our ecosystem? Do we fumble that, or have we trained our people and put in place processes that actually walk that fearful consumer the next step to build trust that they can get them to a decision?
That's right. And then let's look at different cohorts, right? We're not really having a great conversation with females on this particular topic, right?
Okay.
The mother that's saying, am I gonna get stuck when I'm taking, James to baseball and Audrey to dance and trying to figure out the process? And look, we know that the average American drives 37 miles a day. Well, multiply that by 7, that's 260, right? Thereabouts. Every product right now has a range of 260 or more.
Right.
So that's a full week without a charge. But the consumer thinks,
I need 400.
I need 400.
Right.
I need 500. I need, so there's we have to do a better job of myth busting, educating on exactly where we are in this process. And I think things will change. I think that stacking of EV vehicles might look differently. Now, Mike Stanton, God bless him, he's got dealers coming to him going, look, man, this is a problem right now. And he has a problem. But it needs to be met with some better education problem. And we need to work on this thing together. We're all in the one thing this industry does well, man. When we've got a problem, we figure out a solution.
Figure it out together.
We figure it out together.
John, it is always great to have a conversation with you. You're always thinking of things in multiple dimensions. Thanks for giving us some of your time and just putting your heart, soul, energy, mind, brain power into making this better for everybody.
Thank you, man. And thank you for what you guys do. I love the spin on how you're attacking this industry with fresh ideas, creativity, and just telling a story and the multiple stories that bring this industry together and make it so great. You guys do a great job.
Like you said, we're solving it together.
That's right, man.
Thanks.